with the other host, my right arm, my friend and partner in crime, and all of this craziness we call publishing. And welcome to All Things Books and Publishing. We do own and operate Midnight Publishing. And yesterday we had our first workshop. It was amazing. It was only really supposed to be about an hour long, and that thing ran almost 2 hours.
Because
We
we had
had
such great questions.
we did, and we had three participants, one in the chat room, two live with us, Denise Winters, and what is Anada's last name?
Rose,
Rose, Anada Rose. Anada is a children's author, and Denise is a spiritual inspirational author, and she is also giving us her journey with cancer. Those are two brand new authors that are coming on board with us. Now, we are in the middle of January. Our company has already sold 64 books for this year.
wow.
64
In 14 days.
in 14 days. We have gathered under our tent a total of five authors since the beginning of the year. C.R. Dunham's book, Right This Way, will go live on January the 26th. Connie Stiegel came on yesterday morning, and Christopher Plain, also known as the Music God, came on board late yesterday afternoon. And my daughter Brandy, who is one of our staunchest supporters, she has taken over my late husband's job as biggest supporter of Mama. She told
She
him,
is
well,
amazing.
isn't she told him, welcome to the crazy house. You can't have my crayons, and Mama is the best. And Chris said I wouldn't trust anyone but her. So that is humbling, and it makes my heart swell, not with pride, because pride will make you fall down every time, but with a humbleness and a thankfulness to God that He's driving this train, because I sure don't. I was reading an article here a few minutes ago that I reposted
I
on,
just blow the whistle. Woo-hoo!
and it was talking about when God gave Noah instructions on how to build the ark. He gave him the length, the width, the height, the depth, what wood to make it out of, how to pitch it. But you know what he didn't tell him to put in the ark? A steering wheel and a rudder.
Oh, that's right.
No steering wheel and no rudder. He was just going to float. And the reason is because God is the steering wheel and the rudder.
God
That's
is
what
in
we
charge.
feel about Midnight Publishing. God is our steering wheel and our rudder. We are just in this boat floating, and God takes us where He wants us to go. And because of that, and I was thinking about this too, Mary, because of that, look at all the spiritual inspirational writers we have brought on board.
Yeah.
We have Carol Bellavance, Del Veely, Andrea Dean Van Scoy, Peggy Engler, Alta Desanoid, and who else?
I got a couple.
Mary. So right now we're at seven of spiritual inspirational writers, plus Denise Winter, eight. So we know that God has taken us on a journey somewhere, don't know where.
And look at Dale Veely's book. I mean, it instantly hit the gate in a number one position.
Well, he has sold nine books this month, and he's now at number 29 in the category of new releases and faith deconstruction, I think it is.
Mm-mm-mm.
So the point, and the point is, when our authors let go and trust the process and allow us to do what we do because of God, great things happen. Yesterday, when we were talking to Anada Rose and Denise Winter, we were talking about contracts and our requirements and why we have our requirements, and not listening to the white noise that they will be getting once their book gets ready to come out. And part of that white noise is book covers.
Oh, yes.
If Aunt Susie's seeing your book cover and she's going, but I don't like that cover. We didn't do that cover for Aunt Susie. Understand that. That book cover is to reach the masses. Just because Aunt Susie doesn't like that book cover is no
She's
reason.
one out of millions of people.
We are trendsetters here at Midnight Publishing. And when I say we are trendsetters, what I am saying is we don't follow what everybody else is doing. When you follow what everybody else is doing, then you just become a blur in a crowd of books and people. There you go, just sheep. So, what we do here, our motto is we stand out, we do not blend in. We have embraced AI as a tool. And when I say we have embraced AI as a tool, what you have to realize, ladies and gentlemen, is we use AI every day. When I'm typing a text message and I'm trying to tell somebody something and my phone pops up and says, no, that's not the word. And I know it is because that's how I'm spelling it. That's AI.
Yeah.
When I'm in my truck and it says, oh, dumbass, you need an oil change pretty soon. That's AI. That's artificial intelligence. When I type a manuscript on Word and it jumps up and says, you want to change that spelling or what you're saying doesn't make any sense, that's AI. AI is a tool. When computers first came out, I was using them when you had to use DOS. Oh, yeah, that was so much fun. You had to literally type in the code just to get into the computer.
Those were fun days.
Oh, they were lots of fun. Artificial intelligence. You told it what you wanted it to do, and it did it. It's the same thing with us using AI as a tool, both on our audibles and our graphics and book covers. So when Aunt Susie says, well, why didn't you pay an illustrator to draw your cover? I'm going to tell you what, your illustrators use AI. Trust me, I paid for book covers. I know what they do. They go and they look for graphics and build those covers. When you say, well, I don't want to use AI for my Audible books because we don't want voiceover people to lose their jobs, they're not going to lose their jobs. And I guarantee you that they're beginning to use AI. Trust me on this one. So, enough said about that.
I remember when I was a child, my grandmother had not gotten electricity for many years. I mean, it wasn't available. Every light fixture in her house had a string. You had to pull on that string to turn the light on. Can you imagine the people of her generation when somebody figured a way to do that with a switch on the wall? Oh, the devil must have been involved in that. How can you stand 6 feet away and turn on a light? Well, that wasn't AI, but it was still technology.
Exactly. And when you open your mind up to accepting advancements, just had a friend that had double hip surgery at the same time. Doctor didn't want to do it, but he did it because she has other health issues. That doctor did not replace those hips. It was done robotically.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
Because a doctor's hand could shake. That robot's not going to shake. And it's much more accurate.
And they typed in what they wanted done and that robot did it. That's artificial intelligence. No matter how you slice it, the TVs that we watch, that's artificial intelligence.
What about our cars that
and,
you just put a fob in your pocket
and it
and
cranks.
you don't turn a key, you just press a button?
And Alexa, that's
Oh, yes.
artificial. That's artificial. And you use Alexa to turn on your lights. Use Alexa to turn on your TVs, to order from Amazon. All of that's artificial intelligence. So for people that just absolutely close their mind to it, you're cheating yourselves. You're cheating your audience, and you are not advancing with the times.
I met a man one time who says, I don't think it's artificial intelligence. I think it's divine intelligence. Because God gave us men and women, the brain power to create it. And therefore it comes from God through our brains. You know, we as humans created this program. And I mean, my husband's a computer programmer for NASA. Let me tell you, those rockets aren't going anywhere without the code.
Exactly. All right, let's take this one step further. The illustrators they have for whatever, comic books, comic strips, books, they don't sit down now with a piece of paper and colored pencils or pen and ink and draw anymore. They use their computer. There's a program to draw and paint illustrations. That is
Yeah.
AI. I'm sorry, but it is. It is artificial intelligence. When you use Audible, when I use Audible to put up my author's books, I go and find a voice that matches that book. And the more I use that particular voice, the more it learns.
I remember, oh, I don't know, probably 10 years ago, on my cell phone, it was a flip phone, but it had voice to text recognition. And it even told me to practice and work with it. The more you work with this program, the more your phone will learn. And so I might say, I'm going to the store. And it hears, I'm going to the store.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I have to go back and erase that and write in the word store. But then I have to go also and teach the computer in my phone what my voice is. I don't have a strong Southern accent like a lot of people do from South Carolina. Thank goodness. Because if I talked like they did, my phone really would not understand a word I was saying. But we have this opportunity to teach our phones that a four-letter word really has two syllables.
There you go. And when Amazon first came out with their Audible, they reached out and said, "Would you participate in this beta program?" Hey, I'm all about it. So I started putting up our authors' books on Audible, and they've been selling. So understand that the more that I use it, the better it gets.
Yeah.
When
I love the fact that Ramonda's extended warranty is narrated through the voice of a young Southern girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that my Steep Steps novel is narrated through the voice of a more urban man. Because that's the voice of the book.
Exactly. And what I am asking all of the authors we currently have and the authors that will be coming down the pike is to continue to trust the process. Continue to understand that A, I know marketing. B, I know what I'm doing. C, I've already paid thousands of dollars to have my books done and Audible, and they're no better than what I do for y'all through AI. In fact, some of my AI voices are a whole lot better than what I paid thousands of dollars to have done. So, with that being said, we're going to move on to something else. And I did this in my live this morning. For whatever reason, Facebook was having a brain fart, and I had to do it 3 times to get sound. But I understand, and understand I've been in this business a long, long time. I understand your desire to have a certain book cover. I understand that. I also understand that you have a vision of how you want that book cover to be. But you have to understand that I have to work with Amazon. And if I don't do what Amazon tells me to do, then it's like a salmon swimming upstream. I'll probably die before I get that book cover done. And
How long did I tell you that I had worked on Linda Humphrey's Cornfield Flyers before I handed it over to you?
1 year.
1 year. I fought against this. You hear about people pulling their hair out. Well, Linda was ready to pull my hair out because I wasn't willing to give up. I didn't want to admit defeat. And Linda said, just quit. Just stop worrying about it. Let's just say we can't do this. And then along comes Yvonne with Midnight Publishing. Went to lunch with her one day because Yvonne and I have been friends for umpteen years. And I had a flash drive. I had my 2 books that I had already published and Linda's book. And when I say already published, we did it the hard way. We went to printers and had them bid on the job, and then we had to have them print the job and sent us hundreds of or thousands of dollars worth of books that we then had to turn around and sell. Well, with Amazon, you don't have to make this kind of investment. But I gave Yvonne 3 books on a flash drive, and within 24 hours, she had Linda's book up on Amazon. I don't know. I don't know how she does it. I just know she knows what she's doing. And I am the world's, and I figured this out because they say, if you go into a room and everybody's an idiot, maybe you're the idiot. But I had noticed over the course of years that every job I had, my boss was a micromanager and a control freak. Well, I started looking at the mirror of other people and I realized, Mary, you're the micromanager. You're the control freak. When I learned, and it was a hard lesson for me, to let it go, to trust the process, I was able to soar. Yvonne gave me the freedom to just write. And I cannot stress enough how important that is.
With the books that Mary gave me, Sally's Heart, Amazon would not take the back cover. Number one, children's books are done in an 8.5 and an 8.5 format. And this was something else that I've had to teach my children's authors. Less is more. So I had to recreate the back cover. And when I sent it to Mary, it was like a light bulb went off. And
Yeah.
when you read Sally's Heart, you will understand what the back cover means. When I did Linda's book, and Mary's two books, because they had backgrounds and then they had the graphic, Amazon said, well, you know, if you got all of this, then I got to have a bleed section. And if you don't tell me it's a bleed section, I'm going to kick it back. And I'm going to keep kicking it back until you get it like I want it. So what I did is I went back and I changed all of those graphics and all of those pages to fit the page. Same thing when I put it up on Kindle. What I have asked my children's authors to do is don't give me any background. I don't want background because children don't care about background. Children just want to see a picture. And because now we have taken our children's books in a different direction and they're more realistic, it's even better.
Oh, yes.
Carol Speardals, when she got her little children's book, she said, Yvonne, I sent you a 1-by-1 graphic. Yeah, you did. It's a perfect square. But then I have to go back and I have to resize it to fit the book. And it's not going to be a perfect square in the book simply because you have sentences down at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I have to fit those graphics within an 8.5 by 8.5 page. And if it bleeds
with room,
with room,
with margins.
And if I don't, then Amazon kicks it back and I have to go back and rework it. So this is the same with book covers. And this is why we say keep an open mind. Every format that I put your book on has a different book cover format. Kindle is different from paperback. Paperback is different from hardback. And I have to go in and change all of that. And if I don't do it right the first time when I'm doing the paperback, then I have to go back and recreate for a hardcover. That's redundancy that I don't need. I don't have time for it anymore. I need to be able to go in, and your paperbacks are 6 by 9. Easy. Your hardbacks are 6.197 by 9.236. So
And
when
that's because the cover, you know, a paperback is just a little hard piece of paper. It's laminated paper. But a hardcover book is actually a piece of cardboard that they wrap the image on. And it has to stick out just a little bit beyond the edges of the interior of the book. So the hardback cover is bigger and it wraps around in a different way. You know, if it's to be a hardcover, it has to be a certain 79 pages, certain thickness.
79 pages.
And to do that gives you the spine on the edge. And all of this has to be taken into consideration. And these are things that Yvonne has done so well and so long that it's almost like second nature to her.
And also
And
the
then when we have
spine.
our guidelines.
The spine is also different. The spine on a hardcover is wider than the spine on your paperback.
Yes.
And if that cover does not fit their criteria, let's say the name is too far down on the front cover, they're going to kick it back. They're going to say, wait, you're outside of our parameters. Go back and fix it. I have to tear that whole thing down and rebuild it from scratch. If on the back cover, the wording or a graphic goes too far down, the barcode won't show up. They'll kick it back and say, hey, dummy, you got to fix this.
You have to have a blank space for the barcode.
And it doesn't matter if it's paperback or hardback. If I go to put up a Kindle book cover and I don't change the pixel rate, which is 625 by 1000, now those are pixels, not images. And a pixel are the little dots and a picture that come together to make a picture. If I don't change that pixel rate, they kick it back and say, hey, dummy, this isn't going to fly. So, what I had to save myself time and aggravation, when I build your book cover, I build it with all of those parameters wrapping around in my head because I know what's coming. So when you send me a book cover and say, I am dead set on this, this is what I'm having, I'm not having anything else, and
Bye-bye.
I can't tear it apart, I can't redo it, then I'm sorry. I can't help you. Because Amazon's going to kick it back. I'm not wasting my time or your time. And another thing, I can't even start your cover until I get your manuscript and I number the pages. Because the
That's right.
first thing Amazon says is, and how many pages are in this book? Because they give me a template to build your cover from, so they are no mistakes. And
You have to fill out pages, basically, of forms with, when you look at an Amazon listing, it's going to have the name of the book, the author's name, a little description, and then below that, you're going to see how many pages, how big the book is, whether it's 6 by 9 or 8.5 by 8.5. It's going to have, I can't remember, but there are a lot of other things there. And Yvonne has to put all of this information in before she can even begin to upload the manuscript. And we talked about this yesterday, and I want to remind people, a manuscript is not a bunch of individual files. It's not a bunch of chapters sent willy-nilly. It is one document in Word, Microsoft Word, and it has everything in it that you want in that book. If you're going to have a dedication page, you need to put it in your document. If you're going to have something at the end of the book to tell about your next book, you have to have it in there. You can't just expect Yvonne to read your mind.
That's not on my list of things to do.
No.
I have read too many minds in my day, and sometimes it gets very frightening. I just want to back away slowly and shut that door and keep them locked in forever.
Yeah.
But because we are growing and we're not exploding, and I don't want to explode, and I think God understands that, because he's sending us authors slowly in his time. However, because we are growing, I think we're up to 30 authors now.
Whoa.
Not accounting Elsa Ward, who is still working on her 2 books, and a new one that is probably coming on that is hell-bent and determined that we're going to meet. I mean, how many people meet their publishers? None that I know of.
I mean, if you were in New York or Chicago, she wouldn't be able to just get on a plane and fly to visit you.
No, I'm done flying. Southwest is charging for luggage now, so no, I'm done flying. I traveled for 7 years. I'm done. I'm over it. Every airport or every hotel I walked into, I'd go, oh, honey, I'm home. So I'm done. But what I'm asking all of our authors to do is, please, if you have an idea, I'm open to the idea, but allow me to do what I do. Del Veely, God love that man. Mary told him, you've got to trust the process and you got to trust Yvonne. And he says, well, I have a book cover. She said, don't send it to her. Don't. She said, because I'm going to tell you what, as she's reading that book, she's doing a book cover. So when I sent him the mock-up for the front cover, he sent me an email and he said, you made me cry. It's above my expectations. When I am working on books, even my own books, it's like a movie in my head. and pieces of this movie start putting themselves like a jigsaw puzzle together. Sometimes I have to literally stop in the middle of editing your book and go looking for the things that I need to put your cover together. And I will download dozens of images, dozens.
You
Very-
told me before I even sent you the manuscript for From the Balcony that you knew exactly what the cover was going to look like.
Yep. And we were at lunch that day.
Yeah. But I want to show the people who are watching the video. It's so amazing because she truly captured what I had in mind. The front cover is just a young woman pondering, thinking. But like Yvonne says, the front cover draws you in. The back cover makes you want to buy the book. Look at the back. Now, why is that woman falling off the balcony? You're going to have to read the book and find out. I had a bunch of ideas for the cover, and it was very, very similar to what Yvonne had, but not quite as powerful. And I saw you made a new video, a little 7-second video of this. And it's the woman on the cover talking to you.
Yep.
It was phenomenal.
And this is what gets your book sold.
Yeah.
As Mary said the other day, there are how many books on Amazon?
More than 44 million.
44 million books just on Amazon.
And Amazon has somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 book categories.
Yep. So, do you want your book to get lost in that 44 million?
I don't. I want, and it does my heart good. I will sometimes just Google the name of one of my books. And when when it's the first hit, I know we've done something right. Now, sometimes I'll Google, like, if I could be a butterfly. And a bunch of butterflies books come up, or stories or videos. But if I put in my name, then of course it comes up quicker. But when I can type in Ramonda's extended warranty, now it's true, usually the first thing I get is about a car warranty.
Of course.
But if I say Ramonda's extended warranty book, my book is the very first thing that pops up. And if I do it on Amazon and it's the first thing that pops up, then I know that Yvonne has categorized it properly. She has done her job to get this book out there. And then the rest of it's up to the book and Amazon's algorithm.
And that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. We cannot stress this enough. Beginning this year, if you have signed off on your manuscript and your book cover, and I put it up there, and it goes live on a certain day, and you say, I got my proof copy, but my friend over here, she didn't like the cover, will you change it? Well, two things may have happened. The book may be locked because it's getting ready to go live and I can't touch it anyway. Number two, if it's already live and you have me take that book down, which I'm going to tell you other publishers will not do, then that stops whatever algorithms are out there on Amazon pushing that book. So it goes down to 0 again. What else also happens is if somebody goes to buy your book, it's going to say out of stock. So when we put that book back up and they type in that book, the first thing it's going to say is out of stock. They're not going to know to go look for it. So you may have 3 different book covers up there and 2 of them saying out of stock. You have to understand that it's not a willy-nilly business. If I have to pull your manuscript down or I have to pull your book cover down because you found a couple of words misspelled that nobody caught and you got to go back and fix it, then it's going to the bottom of my pile and I'm going to charge you $50 to put that book back up. Same thing with your book cover. If you signed off on that book cover and then you come back and say, well, you know, I showed it to a couple of my friends and they don't like it. I'm not doing that book cover for a couple of your friends. Did the couple of your friends buy that book? I would venture to say no.
Even if a couple of your friends did buy it, how does that compare to a couple of hundreds of thousands of people that might buy it?
Exactly. And you have to understand that every time that book is touched, once it goes live, the algorithms stop.
It's like a brand new book.
Yeah.
And Amazon, we were talking earlier about AI. Amazon uses AI. And they use their algorithms, which are these are programs, computer programs, to look at how books are behaving and acting, and who's interacting with them. If you're constantly checking Amazon for your titles, or your friends are checking it for your titles, it's gonna push you up the ladder. And the minute that you say, oh, I found some problems, we need to take it down, those are problems you should have looked at before you sent the manuscript. That's why if you want your book to be as perfect as possible, there is no perfect, but as perfect as possible, you need a quality editor before you send it to Yvonne, who will continue to edit. But she's not going to be changing your words around. She's only looking for the most obvious mistakes, and she'll fix them.
Yeah.
But don't come back and say, oh, I really need to put so-and-so in my book. I forgot to put the index. I'm sorry. The time has passed for that. If you want an index or chapters, table of contents, you need to put that in there before you send it to Yvonne.
And if I don't have a table of contents, I will add it simply because I put it up on Kindle, and then once Kindle goes live, I put it up on Audible. Let me tell you something else that other houses don't do, especially small presses and vanities. Every time they touch your book, they're going to charge you. So they're not going to put it up on Audible, they're not going to put it up on Kindle, and they're not going to put it up on paperback without hardback without charging you. Because each one of those has a different format, and 2 of those have different book covers.
Yeah.
So every time they touch your book, every time they do something with your book, they're going to charge you. And on our Facebook page, I have posted as a featured thing what the going rate now is for things. And it's going higher. Do you know that editors start charging they charge by word. It can be anything from 2 cents to 8 cents a word. If you have an 80,000 word document, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Some of them charge by page. Some of them charge by total word count. So it can run into the tens of thousands of dollars. This is why most publishing houses say we don't want more than 60,000 words. We don't do word count here. We don't even do page count here. It is what it is. I want the authors to be heard and read. If I used to have my book covers done And I want you to know I spent upwards of a total of about $15,000 for all the books that I had done over a period of time. To
It's
pay,
easy to get lost. And then you've got people constantly, they see your book out there and they'll email you and they'll say, oh, I can help you get more visibility. No, you can't.
mm-mm.
Not, I don't think it's possible. Yvonne uses all the keywords. She knows what the book is about. She gets it on Amazon in 4 different formats. And she makes videos for us. She promotes our books. And I will tell you folks, if you are actively promoting your own books, then Yvonne has more material to help you promote. She promotes on her own, but she promotes my books like crazy because I'm promoting them like crazy. And God love Brandy. Every time I open up my Facebook, I see Brandy Highfield has shared your post. I'm like, what?
That's what she
But
does.
also, this is part of the Midnight Publishing culture. We authors share each other's works. If I see that Andrea has posted something, or Carol, or either Carol, we got 2 Carols, we got 2 Lindas. If I see that they're posting, I'm just going to share it to my page because why not? It doesn't hurt me.
And it takes some
helps.
time.
Yeah. Takes a second, maybe 5 at the most. You just hit the share button and say yes.
And I have myself, I have the page that I use all the time. I have an author page. I have one under my married name. I have off the chain page where this goes live on, and I have indie authors page. And guess what happened yesterday?
What?
One of the authors from the indie author page is now following us.
Okay.
Plus, we have Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, LinkedIn, Blogger, the website. We have YouTube. This program and the workshop program goes out on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Mixcloud, iTunes. Also goes up on the website. Also goes up here on all of our social media pages.
Wow.
You can't pay enough money for all of that.
No. No.
When I do the 7-second videos, they go up on our pages. They go up on YouTube. They go up on the website. And every time I put up a new one, I get hits from where people have liked them and where people are watching them. And sadly, what happens, WordPress is doing something new. Instead of carrying over our almost 5,000 viewers from last year, they started over. So it's building up again, but that's okay. We're getting there again, and we have all of the different countries are still there. They're all back up, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. They can do what they do. But what we're saying, ladies and gentlemen, what Midnight Publishing offers for $0 would cost you, I don't know how much, because every day I see something on Facebook that says, oh, you want your book out there? We can help you starting at $9.99 or starting at $90. Oh, you want your book audio? We can do that starting at $299.
Yeah.
Starting.
Well, I actually reached out to a young man, I think he's young, who does audibles, and he does them for free. And I thought, wow, how great is that? But in order for him to even consider working with an author, you must have a minimum of 10,000 followers. I'm sorry. I don't have time to build my social standing and write my books. Not when I've got Yvonne, and she can do just as good.
Actually, probably better. Eh, All right. Let's let's say you send your book to an agent. Now this happened. There is a group out there called Authors to Authors, I think. I refuse to join it because what I am seeing, I'm having an issue with. Anyway, this young man put a post up and he said, "Once again, I have been rejected by an agent." They were very, very kind. However, they don't have time for me. I'm so discouraged. I sent him a private message and I said, "Look, why don't you come over to Midnight Publishing? You don't need an agent. Midnight Publishing is your agent as well as your publisher, as your editor, your book cover designer. Join us, join our page and see what we do and understand that we don't charge." Now you have to understand, do you want your email account filled up with rejection letters from agents? When I first started, 20 some odd, longer than that, in the 1980s and early 90s, when I finished the first book, which was about my brother, I spent hundreds of dollars, manuscripts and letters in manila envelopes out to publishers and agents. I had enough rejections I could wallpaper my house. There were things like, well, it's really not what we're looking for. Contact us again. We might consider it down the road. And I'm going, what? So when I got to Florida in 2006, I said, okay, we're doing this again. The technology is there now. There was no social media. MySpace had just come out. I published through Lulu, which is an experience within itself, and started a networking of other authors. And we all built our network on MySpace. Were we accepted? No, we were not. Oh, you're self-published? Well, you're not good enough.
You're not really an author.
You're not really an author. I will never forget, I went to a Saturday market in Fort Pierce, and there was a table there with indie authors. At that time, they were self-published. And I had a conversation with them, and I came away from that table feeling like, what am I doing? Why am I even here? Why do I even bother? Because their attitude was one of, you're not invited to our table because you're not good enough. Well, I've lived with that all of my life. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. So when I decided to take my own path and set up my own table, things changed. And I am not one to brag on myself. You will very seldom hear me brag on myself. But because I changed my way of thinking, I took leaps of faith that things happened. If you go to the ID channel and you pull up my name and Gerard Schaefer's name, I've been on that channel many, many times. Twice in Europe. So what I am telling all of you is what we offer here is a seat at the table with no judgment, no preconceived ideas. The only thing we will not publish is erotica because this is a God driven house and we have to go with that or else none of us will be blessed. We just ask that you trust the process, trust me, and understand that I've been out here a long time. And if Mary can let go, can let go. Just saying.
It's true. It's true. I mean, I really, I fought tooth and nail, and she had to drag me into this acceptance, kicking and screaming. I didn't want to let it go. I didn't want to release my control. But see, this is the beautiful thing. As the author, I can control everything about my book up until the point that I submit it to my publisher. And it's no different if I was working with an agent. I would submit it to the agent, and then the agent would submit it to, say, Random House. We cut out the middle guy, and the author gets to work right with our agent, right with our publisher, right with our publicist. And Yvonne is a one-stop shop. But I can control the words that I put in my manuscript, and I can control the words that I use when I make posts on social media, or when I go to an author's event and I'm talking one-on-one with people. But once I give it to Yvonne, I have to allow myself to say, okay, I'm done with this book. Yvonne, it's yours. You make the magic at this point. And then I can go write another book. I've been given so much freedom to be able to write more of what I want to write and grab more files that I've got stored away and turn them into the books. And as long as I've double checked it and I've had somebody else read it and make sure that I've got all the mistakes out, or most of the mistakes. Once Yvonne gets it, she just adds life to it. That's all.
And again, it is not me. It's a gift from God.
Yvonne is just a tool.
That's it. I'm just his vessel. I can find the Easter eggs in your book. I can find the Easter eggs in your psychic. I can find the Easter eggs in your emotions. Gwendolyn Law, when she came on board in November of 2024, she came on board kicking and screaming. She wanted her book out, but she came on board very hesitantly because this is a very raw, personal, deeply emotional book. It's called September's Chill. And it is her journey through 2 relationships of domestic violence, which included the death of one of her children as a baby. Since we released that book, this woman has bloomed.
She has.
Just absolutely, I would say we created a writing monster. In a good way. And the reason is because she gave herself permission to say what's on her heart.
Yeah.
When Ellie Ryan sent me her manuscript, this was something she'd had sitting in her files for years. And she finally came on board kicking and screaming because she had one of those moments where people were earworms in her ear. And when she finally understood this is the way it is and this is why it is the way it is, she's blooming. She's writing another book. When Sherry Ann Richardson contacted me and said, would you be willing to publish this book that has been in my files for 25 years? I said yes. It was interesting because she sent it to me in Google Docs, chapter by chapter. It was something that she had not compiled because she was afraid that it would be rejected. We got it all put together. I created the cover. It's in hardback. It's in paperback. It's on Kindle. It's on Audible. Then she sent me another book that she wrote when she was 17 years old. Same thing. Put it together. Got it up there. She's a different human being. And it's all because
I've watched her.
Yeah, just, there's no
It's like
negativity.
watching a flower bloom.
She is embracing Tuesday and Thursday morning resets, public speaking. She's put together a Valentine's Day basket with her, the chocolate lover's garden, a cacao plant that you can grow because cacao is the true chocolate, and some other things. It's only available locally, but the fact is that she is just paving a path. I can't talk about Mary enough because when she let go and we published her books and then she had her heart attack because she had already learned to let go. She had a widowmaker, ladies and gentlemen. If you know anything about a widowmaker, that's why they're called widowmakers, because you don't come back from them. You die.
Almost did.
She almost did, but God's got other plans for her.
And I will tell you guys, and ladies and gentlemen, not just guys, I firmly believe that had I not learned to let go and trust the process, we say trust the process. Really, it's trusting God.
Yep.
God gave Yvonne the idea to do this. God gave Yvonne the talent, the skills, and the tools. And she pays for a lot of her tools that she uses and doesn't charge anybody a penny for her time or her what she paid in there. But if I had not learned the lesson of releasing and letting go and trusting the process, I firmly believe that when I was rushed to the hospital with a 99% blocked artery of my main artery, I would have died because I hadn't learned the lesson. I'd already published 17 books. I mean, from August to December, when I had my heart attack, Yvonne helped me get 15 books published. I didn't write them all immediately. These were things I had, all but 3 of them were files I had on my computer. But the act of trusting and letting go meant, okay, it's in here. I learned the lesson, God. I understand. I'm not going to push. And my husband and I were talking last night. He said, from the moment I've known you, you've always been a go-getter. You've always been an overachiever, and you just push, and you ignore pain. You ignore physical symptoms, and you do what you think you have to do. He said, until now, you've never learned to relax. So now that I've got this lesson, I am getting a little edgy. I really want to write my next book. I want to get it going, but I'm not ready for that yet. I know this. But I urge you all to learn to trust the process, because believe me, you don't want to be where I was a month ago.
And you also don't want to get burned out from stress, from always wanting perfection in your life.
There is no perfection.
No, there is none.
I don't even know why the word exists, because
The only perfect person died on a cross.
we cannot be perfect. It's not possible. We can be near perfect. We can be really, really good. But why be perfect? Why strive for something that's unattainable?
It makes me tired.
It's exhausting.
And I am too old to be that tired. I need to
Yeah.
be around to take care of this little family that we have formed. And we're going to get back to Brandy. Brandy is my daughter. She is my oldest daughter. Ramonda was her daughter. And Brandy has taken the job of my late husband of being the staunchest supporter within my family. And every time something is put up, whether it's Mary's, whether it's Gwendolyn's, whether it's Ellie Ryan's, whether it's C.R. Dunham's, whether it's Sherry Ann's, it doesn't matter whose it is, Brandy shares it because she has a whole different social media set of people who are readers. And this, she doesn't even write, she doesn't even read. But she shares it because she believes in what we're doing. She believes that this is a God moment. Gwendolyn has started sharing everybody's things other than her own. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, another side chapter of this is when we give blessings to others, we get blessings back
Absolutely.
in spades. Not that we do this for blessings. I do it because God said, you're going to do it. And I said, okay. I was taught to honor my parents, and God is my father. So if he said, Yvonne, you're doing this, you have the talent, you have the craft, you have the ability, and I will direct you. You're not alone. I was not expecting this to do what it has done. I was not expecting Mary to say, I've got this and this and this and this, and me say, stop. God said, Yvonne, shut her up. Just shut her up for a minute. This is not me. It's not about me. It's not about publishing. It is about service. So when I say trust the process, I mean trust the process from the time you say I want on board until this book goes live and we continue to market it. Yeah, I pay for every program that I use to take care of y'all, and it's not cheap. I live off of my Social Security, which is not much. If you want to know how much I spend per month to run this business, it's about $150 a month for each program that I use. That adds up in a year's time. I have had to stop doing some things that I enjoy doing because this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what takes what little extra money I have. Do I want it back from any of y'all? No, because God takes care of me in ways that is amazing. And some of you may say, well, what about my royalties? Let me tell you what, you get every bit of your royalties. I'm not going to send out a $6 PayPal royalty amount to you because PayPal is going to take about $2.50. That's just what they do. So I allow it to build up. I sent out 2 royalty payments last month, and Sherry Ann said, this is the first, and she said this on her Tuesday reset, this is the first time I've ever received a royalty check for any of my books.
And that is such a good feeling.
It is. There will be some probably going out at the end of this month. I know Mary's got some that are building up. Linda Ryan has some that are building up, and they build up slowly but surely. What I would like to do is get Sherry to let us do her gardening for idiots or whatever she has out there. Let us republish them under our blanket because we can promote the daylights out of them and help her. I don't know who she published them through or if she did it herself. So all we're asking is when you come online with us and you say that you want to come online with us, we will send you a contract which states you understand the process, you trust the process, and that if once the process is done and that book is up, and you come back and say, oh, well, Aunt Susie doesn't like the cover, take it down and do it this way, there's going to be a charge. It's a $50 charge. If I have to take the manuscript down and put it back up, there's a $50 charge. Not only that, but it goes to the bottom of my book pile. And I'm getting books every day. Right now, I don't have any, but that doesn't mean to say they're not going to start coming fast and furious.
Now, see, I hear that, and I hear challenge.
Exactly. And she will, trust me. This time next week, she'll be at her desk doing this.
I might, because I was working on a book. I can't even remember what I'm calling it, but it's a book about why writers don't write. Basically, all the excuses we make for not writing. Kind of humorous.
Yeah, we talked about that book.
I was in the middle of doing that around the time that I had my heart attack. So it may be nearer finished than I think. I just don't remember.
So you
But I
see,
think-
and now the challenge is there because she's going to send me a book just to send me a book.
just for spite.
I know Christopher Plain's book is almost done. I know that Anata is sending you her children's book. Let's talk about children's books for a minute before we close this
Okay.
out while we're talking. Anata, bless her heart, she thought that a children's book had to be pages and pages and pages and pages. No, it does not. And the reason for that is because in a children's book, you only want at the most 4 sentences per page, along with the graphic. And the reason for that is children get bored real easy. Let's say you've got a little 6-year-old and you're reading them a bedtime story and it's Alice in Wonderland. I can guarantee you they're going to say, turn the page, Mommy, turn the page, turn the page. I want to turn the page. If you're reading them a book that has a maximum of 4 sentences, that's their attention span.
Yeah.
And so when we do a children's book, I only put 3 to 4 sentences per page. I break those sentences down because in between those sentences on the page is the graphic at the top. Some pages have 1 sentence. And there's a reason for that. You want that child to stay engaged and you want them to be excited for you to turn the page and continue the story. Now, if you have a child that has the reading capability like I did at 6 years old on a 4th or 5th grade level, that's not going to work. But for a little one, even tiny, tiny babies, start reading to them from the day they're born. It teaches them the appreciation of the written word. And it's also a teaching tool to teach them how to read themselves. Because
And also, when a parent reads to a child, the child associates the book, the written word, with love.
Exactly. And this is why I do the books the way that I do them. We do the AI graphics, and they fit the story. When I am doing a children's book, I start going and looking for the graphics that go with that particular sentence. I stop in the middle of everything and start looking. And I will pull down 100 to 150 graphics. Mary will tell you I've sent her graphics that I didn't even use.
But then I use them for marketing.
There you go. So it's not a one and done thing. Children's books take up a lot of time, as do graphic novels. I am working on Fantasy Forest, and I've taken it in a different direction, Mary. But
Uh-oh.
but that's what the voices said to do. And is as I'm writing this book, I have to go and find the different graphics that I want to put together into one picture. That takes time because you have to crop, you have to blend, you have to marry, you have to change backgrounds. It's not a one and done. It's not a willy-nilly thing. It's a very well thought out process. I love creating the children's books. I love
You're
creating
fun.
the covers. I love getting the graphics in there and putting them all together. But again, that is an 8.5 by 8.5. And if you don't do it right, you're going to be like Mary and Linda pulling each other's hair out because you don't understand the process.
Yeah.
Same thing with regular books. Yeah, y'all can go up and do your own thing and publish your own books. But why? Why do you want to take the time to learn what I already know? There's no logic in that. Yes, I make it look easy. But I'm going to tell you what, there are some days that I want to pull out my own hair because people haven't learned yet how to write. And I'm not saying grammatically. They don't indent. They still want to do space between paragraphs. They don't want to do single spacing. I have to go in and fix all of that.
Well, some of this is a throwback to prior to electronic submissions. Every agent or publisher in the world used to get things from, you type it out on a typewriter and you send it to them by postal mail. You could spend a lot of money just posting your stuff out there, trying to get it covered, trying to get somebody to publish it. In those days, you had to double space it. And you were supposed to indent anyway, but you had to double space it so that when the editors got their hands on it, they had room to put marks and leave comments, and then they would send it back to you.
And then you retype the whole thing and then send it back to them. And even in this day and age, Mary, and Mary knows this as well as I do, if you go to any other publisher, I don't care who it is, whether you pay them or it's a small press or it's even one of the big six, they're going to tell you that it's going to take 6 months to a year before you even see anything.
Before you hear back.
Right, 6 months to a year. Mary, how long does it take me from the time I get your books?
Depending on the book and who's ahead of me, 24 to 36 hours. And whether or not she has to have images. If she's doing a graphic novel or a children's book with no images, she's just starting from scratch, it might take her 48 hours.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Because I don't sleep anyway.
I sent her from the balcony, and all she had to do was the cover. That was the only images she needed to do. Everything else was just words. Same with the one left behind. It was just text. So those came like lightning strikes. They were so fast. Lizard Patrol, 1,000 words. They had images. So those took a little bit longer, but I don't think they took I don't think you. The longest it ever took you to do anything for me was when you got 6 books out in a month.
Actually, it was about 2 weeks.
I mean, everything that Yvonne does has just been, you say you don't sleep, and it's so funny because I know other people who have insomnia for whatever reason, or, they just have health issues that just keep them awake. And so they toss and they turn and they complain. Oh my God, they're such victims. And then the next day, of course, they're exhausted and they have to cry and moan because they're so tired they didn't get any sleep the night before. Yvonne takes this as a weapon. She's weaponized insomnia. I don't sleep, so therefore I go work. And I think that's absolutely magnificent. I read somewhere that one of our favorite formulaic authors, Danielle Steele, works 20 hours a day. Well, that's because she can't sleep at night. If she could sleep, I usually sleep 6 to 7 hours every night. I need my sleep. If I don't sleep, it's not pretty. But there have been nights that things have awakened me and I can't go back to sleep. My mind just goes, this was pre-heart attack. But my mind would race, and so I would just get up and go to work. Because why should I lie in my bed and cry?
It makes me tired to cry.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off, so I don't.
Well, I typically run through a litany of prayers, and if that doesn't put me to sleep, I'm like, okay, I hear you. I'll get up and go.
So
Because it just doesn't make sense to,
I'm not going to be.
as my mother would say, don't bitch and moan at me.
I'm
Oh,
not going to be a
something-
victim to insomnia.
No.
I've had insomnia since the day I was born. My mother said I like to drive her crazy because I never slept. So why complain? It's not going to change. I'm going to make it work for me. If I'm not up working, I'm thinking. And I want to leave you guys with this thought because I got to go bowl. I'll be glad when this season is over. I'm tired of bowling. If nothing else, when I leave this world, I want it to be said that I made a difference in one person's life. And if Midnight
Well, you've made a difference in more than one person's life, I can promise you.
If Midnight Publishing is that legacy, then I have done my job. I have done my passion. So, with that being said, we're going to close because I know Mary's getting tired. I have to leave. My phone's been ringing off the hook. People forget I do a podcast on Wednesdays. What are they thinking? This will all go up. If you want to come on board with us, contact either me or Mary, because Mary, she knows as much as I do. She has the
I
paper.
just don't do as much as you do.
She has the paperwork to send you. She knows the email to send your manuscripts to. It's midnight_publishing@yahoo.com. Friend us here on the Midnight Publishing Group page. Friend both Mary and I individually. And give yourself permission to soar.
And get out of your own way.
Absolutely. Just get out of your way.
Just stop overthinking. Stop reanalyzing and, oh, for God's sake. Well, for my sake, for Yvonne's sake, stop listening to Aunt Sally.
Yeah.
Just do your thing. You are the author. You know what you want. You don't need to write by committee.
And you don't need to listen to the earworms of people who are frustrated because they've never achieved their dreams or goals. And that's what it is all about. It is a jealousy. So
Yeah.
understand that, and understand that you do you, boo. And I'll let them do them. And if they have an issue, that is all on them.
Yep.
Because we love our authors. Some I want to beat up sometimes because they won't listen, but I still love them and I want them to
We're
succeed.
training them to listen.
There you go. They are trainable. So, with that, I will say I love you, my dear friend.
I love you.
And the second Tuesday of next month, we will have another workshop.
Do you remember what we're doing that on?
I have no idea. You've got the list.
I
She's got to. She's
don't
got to
know.
find. We got time. She's
I
got
have a
to.
month. I have a month's worth of junk on my desk. It's just growing. Little by little, I'll get back to being organized.
There you go.
But I'll find my notes and I will make an announcement and share it on social media.
So until tomorrow, when I do another live, maybe Friday, maybe tomorrow afternoon. I've got things in the morning, and next Wednesday we will be right here at 10:30. So we both say, "Have the day you deserve," and we hope that people are as kind to you as you are to them.
Yeah, that double-edged sword.
Until then, love you, my darling.
I love you, Yvonne. We'll take care. And folks, we love all of you, whether we've ever met you or not, because, God said we're supposed to.
Exactly. So until then,
See you later.
goodbye. Bye.
Bye-bye.